Tomorrow is an absolutely huge day for Lucid Motors and every single one of its investors. Because of this reason, the Saudi Public Investment Fund, the PIF, the largest shareholder of Lucid stock with a 67.2% stake, okay, their lockup expiration date is tomorrow. So they could, if they wished, sell those shares. What is happening, investors? It is your boy Jack. I am not a financial advisor. My voice is gone today for some reason. I've been sick the last couple of days, so please do excuse me, but I'm here and we need to make this video so everybody knows what is going on before tomorrow hits. More than likely, if you are a Lucid investor, you know this is happening tomorrow. The PIF lockup expiration is over and an awful lot could happen, and there's a couple of situations that we need to be aware of that we're going to speak about today. And what I want to do is predominantly cover the two main things that may happen over the rest of this week realistically and going forwards into the next 4 weeks. And in order to do that, we're going to speak about the PIF, the Saudi Public Investment Fund, okay? We're going to speak about their latest 13F and 13D, when the next one is coming out, how that lines up with Lucid's earnings, and how around here could potentially lead to huge upward movements or downwards movements. There's two main ways this could play out that we need to be aware of. And in the shorter term, I want to speak about the short interest and how, again, we could see a short squeeze. I don't like using that term because people tend to think that means it's going to go up hundreds of percents, but we could see some shorts get squeezed out, most certainly, given what we've seen happen over the last few weeks and given how crazy things could potentially get, okay? I also want to point out that Lucid isn't as heavily shorted as a lot of people seem to believe, especially when this billion shares from the PIF gets opened up. But anyway, that's what we're going to be speaking about. As we record this, Lucid has had a bit of a weird day, currently sitting still just above the $40 range. Once again, it showed strength when it briefly dipped below 40 and went back up. So before we get into all of this juicy information, I'll give you my thoughts and what my plan is with my holding in Lucid. Could I please ask you to hit that juicy like button? It helps me out an awful lot. Drop me a comment down below. Let me know what are you doing with your Lucid shares. And please, my friend, if you are indeed new around here, hit that juicy red subscribe button. So, as I just said, Lucid is holding strong around that $40 mark. We've spent quite a bit of time, trading around this range over the last couple of months, realistically. Somewhere between, 35, 40 is where we've spent most of our time. So before we get too into the PIF, I just want to speak about the short interest, because this is something that gets spoken about quite a bit when it comes to EV in general. I just want to say, LCID short interest, we can see that it has gone up considerably over the last month or so. We can see our short interest currently sitting at about 90 million shares, okay, with a couple of days to cover. Now, this is the most up-to-date information I can find. It's probably gone up since then if I had to guess personally. But you can see that here, it has gone up massively from the span of November to December, and I would expect that a lot of the people who are going short right now are anticipating that the PIF are going to sell some of their shares. Keep in mind, it's a billion shares that are hitting the market, okay? For Lucid, that is a lot. As of right now, the shares outstanding at 1.65 billion. The float is only 569 million. So the float is going to get a whole lot bigger with this expiration period, which could make this potentially a little bit less volatile down the line. We all know how crazy Lucid has been. It all comes down to, do you think that the PIF are going to unload a lot of shares? And we're going to be able to tell on the day just by looking at the volume, okay? If we look at Lucid's average volume over the 3-month period, it's 77.29 million. Average volume over the 10 days is at 48 million. I mean, the volume hasn't been insane as of late, which would lead you to believe that people may not think anything crazy is going to happen here, else we would have seen considerably bigger moves, especially given the broader market. Things aren't looking particularly good as of right now. So maybe the large majority of investors aren't expecting the PIF to sell their shares. Maybe the shorts are going to have it wrong this time, but the market's very irrational right now. One other thing I'd like to point out quickly, just while we're on the topic, okay, is Lucid institutional ownership. Now, if we look at the number of institutional owners, we'll see there's 347 total. Of that, 323 are long only, 3 short only, and 21 long/short. We can see that just today there have been some new buys into Lucid to the tune of nearly 60,000 shares between these two guys right here. 14th of January, 3.5 million shares scooped up right here. And there's not been too many sells, to put it very lightly. So institutions may believe that, it's going up, generally speaking. One other thing to point out, okay, the short interest is currently somewhere in the realms of 16%, but tomorrow that short interest is going to be a much lower percentage because, well, another billion shares are going to hit the market. So the short interest actually appears to be a lot higher than it realistically will be tomorrow, okay? Unless, the PIF decide that they're going to short Lucid. I don't think that's what they're going to do. I don't think you invest this much time and effort into a company to go and open huge short positions, but we will see. So, the short interest looks considerably worse than what it actually is. As opposed to being 15%, it's probably closer to 5 to 6% as of right now. And if you follow EV, especially higher risk EV, which a lot of people still will consider Lucid to be, in the short term, I will agree with you, that's not a very high short interest percentage whatsoever, my friends. So upon initial inspection, it looks like the big money guys, okay, are buying a lot more than is being shorted, okay? I mean, again, you look at that 90 million total shares sold short. If we just go back to that institutional, there was 3.5 million bought by one group of guys on the 14th, and there are many, many more examples of where millions of shares have been picked up over the last couple of months. So when you look at it that way, it seems to be a lot more confidence in Lucid than people who are betting against them. But still, there is a lot of shorts here, my friends. I mean, December from November doubled, and a lot of it would be due to this. So what needs to happen, okay, in my opinion, for a short squeeze to happen? I don't think it comes tomorrow. I don't think it comes on January 19th. I think it comes closer to here, okay? Keep in mind, shorts would only really need to close their positions, okay, if a good catalyst comes out. So we have earnings, February 21st, 2022, okay? So next month we have earnings. That's why at the start of this video I said we're going to speak about the next 4 weeks. One other thing I'd like to point out, okay? Here's our earnings. I was doing a little bit of digging into the PIF, okay? If we go back and look at their latest 13F filing, the filing date was the 15th of November, okay? That would lead us to believe that their next filing date is going to be around the 15th or so, give or take a day or two, of February, just before earnings. If you put 2 and 2 together, if we see that the PIF doesn't sell, okay, which a lot of people are expecting, we will find out tomorrow, by the way. If you just look at the volume tomorrow, if you look at the inflow and the outflow, you will be able to tell very, very quickly if the PIF dumps 5% of their shares, aka 50 million or 10%. You will be able to tell quickly from the volume and the price action, okay? A lot of retail investors, a lot of people like you and me, if they planned on selling Lucid, they're doing it today or yesterday or last week. They're not doing it the day that the PIF can sell. They're doing it beforehand because they're afraid they are going to crash the market. So you will know tomorrow very easily if they have sold. If they do not sell, it will be incredible, okay? It will be incredible for us retail investors. And if they don't sell, there is a chance that they will go ahead and buy more. And if in their next 13F, we see their current shares go up from, let's say, 1.01 billion to 1.1 billion, if they actually buy more shares at current prices, imagine the confidence that is going to fill the retail investor with. If we see that, Lucid's biggest backer is buying more and more and more at these current prices, which again, I'm not sure that they will. I really don't think they are going to load the boat when they already have 1 billion shares here, let's be honest. But if that does happen, and the earnings come out better than expected, that's when a short squeeze happens, in my opinion. That's when I think we see $60+ again. The other hand, if they do sell, and if earnings are bad, that's when we come back and look at this chart and we see, well, there's some very, very obvious points that we could expect to break. One of them being the $35 mark. We've been fighting with $40 a share for a little while now. Yeah, we have our ups, we have our downs. There's been a lot of movement. You don't need me to tell you that. It's very easy to see. We could easily, and I mean truly easily, in my opinion, see Lucid come back down to the low 30s, if not a little bit lower, if the PIF begin to unload. They own so much of Lucid. They have that power. At least when it's the banks, there's a lot of banks who own the companies. They may own an awful lot of the company, but still, not one of them moves it that much all that often. PIF definitely has that power. So they are the two things that Lucid investors really, really need to be aware of right now. Tomorrow, January 19th, look at the volume, literally when market opens. We'll probably even be able to tell, in all honesty, in the pre-market or the post-market, you know what I mean, when this does open up to the PIF. It's going to be a crazy day. I just want to remind you guys now, January 18th, before it's too late, in case you do want to make some changes. Me personally, I plan on holding my position. I don't see why the PIF would dump that much of their position. They clearly believe in Lucid. They've been invested for such a long time. The volume hasn't been insane lately, okay? The RSI is pretty much down the middle. We're not too far away from 50 or 200 day moving averages. I mean, nothing crazy is happening right now. Nothing to indicate anything crazy is going to happen tomorrow. But we need to be aware of those circumstances. We need to be aware of the two primary situations. And that's why I'm making this video for you guys today. But not a lot more needs to really be said, you know. The total short volume isn't that insane, especially won't be tomorrow. It's all on the PIF right now. But anyway, guys, I don't want to waste any more of your time. That's the information I want to get out there. Hopefully it does help a few of you guys. If you watch this video all the way to the end, you, my friend, of course, are a true legend, and I really do appreciate you being here. From the bottom of my heart, your support really means the world to me. If you did enjoy the video, maybe took some value, some insight, could I ask you, hit that juicy like button. It really does help me out an awful lot. Subscribe if you're new around here, and drop me a comment. Anyway, guys, I hope you all have a beautiful, blessed day. I'll see you in another video very soon. Peace.